Good morning. It's Friday. We're live from Ruth Stitchery, and I'm so excited that we're doing another Meet the Staff with Rosemary and Anne. But before I get into talking to them, just a couple of things. I just want to thank everybody again. You guys have been really encouraging to us, especially this past couple of weeks with our videos. So I'm so excited that you're watching and you're enjoying them, and just thanks for your feedback and your encouragement with them. I also wanted to mention that we are now filming with two cameras so we can put these videos up on more than one platform. So we will continue to do Facebook Live, but we are also uploading them onto our YouTube channel and onto our Instagram channel. So just bear with us. I know I did not upload last month's video till this morning, so it is there now. But bear with us. We'll get better at this. But just know that they are now on different platforms, so you can watch them. If you don't have Facebook, you can watch them on YouTube. Yay! So very exciting.
Yeah,
we're getting high tech here. I also wanted to mention, because I had a couple of people say to me that on Facebook, when they went back to watch the video later, that it only ran for like 20 seconds and then it shut off. And so I just wanted to mention that if you see our video pop up at the top of Facebook in a little circle where it says the stories, that is just a little tiny clip. So if you click on that to watch the video, you are only going to get like 20 seconds and then it will click off. You need to make sure that you find it down in the feed or go to our Ruth Stitchery page, and then you can watch the whole video. So I'm sorry that that has happened, but I'm just guessing that that's what's going on, that you're clicking on the story, which is only like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're able to find them. All right. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So before I get into my quilting questions, I know that these two have known each other for quite a while. And so I thought, let's start by you guys have been friends long before Ruth Stitchery, yes?
Yep.
So how did you guys meet, and tell us about it, if you're willing to
So,
share?
so our sons were in the same first grade class, and Anne brought Kyle over for a play date at my house. And Anne is standing at the door, and she takes a minute maybe to say hello, but then she,
I'm sure.
but then she,
I mean, maybe 30 seconds.
yeah, then she spied a quilt hanging in my living room. And yes, exactly. And did you stipple this? Was the question, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yes.
And those sons are now 27 years old.
Right.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that was 20 years ago.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love it. Again, quilting, bringing people together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you guys would have still been friends regardless, but
yeah.
I'm telling you, if you're obsessed with quilting, that's how you get all your friends.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Is that how it is?
That's how it is.
Okay. It is.
So I am going to start by asking you guys what got you into quilting. Like, how did you start? How long have you been quilting? So who wants to go first?
Anne does.
Anne does.
I started with it was 1982, and Audrey Vokes was quilting with the wives group at the base I was at, and I just thought she was the most amazing woman ever. She was a seamstress, just amazing, and her quilts were amazing. She quilt designed, and so we did a quilt together, hand stitched it and raffled it or donate. I know we had a raffle license, and then I didn't get really started till 1995, but I did some in the Netherlands where we were based, and did a little bit with that group there, and then just 95 and on I've been quilting, so it's been fun.
Nice.
And I made my first quilt in the late 70s. We were in graduate school, and a friend was getting married, and two other friends and I decided we'd make her a quilt. So we made her a corduroy quilt.
Right.
Yeah, because in the 70s, with lots of polyester
I was
fiber
gonna say,
fill,
what do
Oh
they
yeah,
call
yeah.
the ones
Sounds great.
where you feel it? What's the
tactile.
oh, they call it something like a not a gadget quilt.
Oh,
Uh,
fusset or fussy?
fussy.
No, that's not right
Anyway,
either.
where they put different textures on
Yeah,
it. So
yeah, yeah.
You're ahead of
you
your
were way
time.
before your
Oh,
time.
well, there weren't very many quilt fabrics at that point.
Right.
So corduroy.
So
That
you
was
made
late
what you had.
70s. Yes. And then I got really busy with grading high school English papers and, doing all the planning and everything, raising
Right.
sons. Um, and then in 92, I got back together with those same two friends. They declared me craft illiterate. It was a very kind designation. And then I bought my first mat and ruler and rotary cutter, and I have been quilting ever
But you've
since.
sewn clothes for a long time.
I'm
right?
tall, in case you can't tell here. So in high school, I had to I made my own clothes because nothing
Yeah,
fit
so that
in the
goes.
60s.
Yeah.
So on that question of do you wash your quilt fabrics when you take them home or not, I definitely wash because I want them to shrink first. Just like the
Well, there
clothes,
you
the
go.
fabric had to shrink first
Yeah.
before I made them. So yeah,
So you were making clothes out of necessity.
yes,
Hard to find.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was 5'10" in 8th grade. So yeah,
So if
yes.
you haven't figured out, we're like, is Rosemary here today? I can't reach that.
Oh, yes,
Or Michelle.
yes,
Michelle's
yes.
tall too. We're like,
Yeah,
who's
it's
here
nice.
that's the tallest that can reach this for us?
Rexanne and
All
Peggy
right.
used me yesterday to put some things
Oh,
up
see?
over there. Rexanne said, "Hey, Rosemary, we need you." I'm on my way.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Anne, how long have you worked at Ruth's? I was trying to
Since 2006, when Kyle, the friend of Will, went to 5th grade. So I started in October of 2006.
Wow. Okay, so 17,
16-ish, yeah,
16,
almost
17
16 years.
years.
Yeah.
And Rosemary, you've been here for a couple years.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But I know probably at least 2 to 3 years before that, you were asked many, many times, when are you going to start working at
Yes.
Ruth's?
Anne
You
and
finally
I,
got her.
Anne and I are lucky to do the shop hop together every
Yeah.
year. And and she would periodically say, "So are you ready yet?" Yeah. So
Ever so casually.
Well, there you
Are you
go.
ready yet?
yes,
And Kathy
yes,
would, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It was lovely.
Mhm.
It was
Yes.
nice to know I was invited.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she finally succumbed to the questions.
Yep.
So it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Okay. I know this is a very difficult one. Do you guys have a favorite quilt or quilts that you have made, either for
Ooh.
yourself or that you've given away?
Mm.
I did tell them they could bring something if they wanted. So I know Anne has
Oh.
brought something
I
with
did.
her. So let's start with you.
It's not my favorite quilt. My favorite quilt is in Kentucky I think it's in Kentucky, with Zach, who I made a dragon quilt. And I had drawn out this dragon and a castle, and it
gosh.
looked horrible. So Jeff Barnes, who's an artist, said, "Well, can I change it a little? Please, please change it." So he brought it to life, and it was an applique quilt. So it's got a dragon with a knight, and he's got a sword, and it's my favorite. But my current favorite is this one. Let's see. Do I have it upside down? I do. And it's purely because it's super cuddly. It's wool
Oh,
on the inside, and
super
it's
soft on the back.
and it has kind of a homespun, but I don't
It's like
think
a
this one
home-
is considered. But
Yeah.
a sharp
enough.
cotton or something like
it's a
that.
bit like it. It's supposed to look like linen, I
It
think.
does
Mm.
kind of look like
But
linen.
I
It's
just think
woven, yeah.
it's just super cuddly, and I do love, love, love this fabric.
Yeah.
And I brought there's the new one. This one keeps talking to me,
Yes.
and I think maybe it needs a sister
so
quilt.
this is Rendezvous, and this one was
Memoirs, I think.
Memoirs. That's right, because I have some of this fabric at home.
The thing is I have another one that's larger because my husband and I keep kind of pulling it over. I mean, I think his idea is that just come closer, so
Yeah.
we're okay. So that's.
I'll say I'm not very nice about sharing my quilts. If
Oh.
I've got a quilt, it's wrapped around me. Get your
Yeah.
own. And that is the
Shenandoah, yeah.
pattern that is,
Whoops.
you know, it's a fairly simple pattern, but makes a big impact, I think. You find that fabric that you want to really show off the fabric, that's a really good one
It's
to
just,
use.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little confusing in some parts of it, but once you know it, it's really easy.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have a favorite quilt or some favorite quilts?
I think my favorite quilts are those I make with my good buddies Sue and Jan. We have every year we get together for at least a week. One of them lives in North Carolina, the other one's in Kansas, and we do quilt retreats together. And
Fun.
we've done round robins. We've done Lori Holt's row quilts, where I make 3 rows of the mason jars, and Sue gets one, Jan gets one. To me, quilting is such a social event. When I
Yeah.
retired from
Yes.
teaching, I was determined to join a quilt guild. Never did that because I'm here. Don't need a quilt guild when you're here.
Where you're
Yes, 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 exactly.
well, it's so true. I have
I'm glad of
always
that.
well, yes, I've always felt like quilting is a community, and you know that you're going to be surrounded by people who are interested in what you're doing, and
Yeah,
you're interested in what they're doing. I just love that
yeah.
that that
And
those are your favorites that you've
yeah,
made with other people.
and as a high school teacher, Beth trusted me to teach here, which I
Yes.
deeply appreciate because I love that community of women when they come together. I did a
Yeah.
block party
Mhm.
last year. I'm doing a scrap class this year. It's just fun to see what other people have to contribute.
Yes.
So it's the social aspect.
Well, it's the social aspect and it's inspiring
Yeah.
And we like
because
to
we
spread love with a quilt,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
And we all don't make the same things. And
Oh
Right.
so
yeah.
you see things that maybe it's not something that you would ever make, but you can
Mm.
appreciate the love and the time and all of that that went
Yeah.
into what someone else has done. So
Yeah.
I think that that is wonderful. And what are you working on right now? Like if I threw that out, what are you working on right
Right
now?
now, I'm working on getting my Capri up and running,
The
so
handy
that I
quilter Capri,
can
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
and the handy quilter, so that I can keep making samples for that scrap basket class and keep showing ways to delve into Mount Scrapmore, which we all
Mount
have.
Scrapmore.
Mount Scrapmore, yes. We all have that, and let's continue to find ways to use it.
Mm.
Yes.
So that's what. And I'm
Wonderful.
always working on an English paper piecing quilt that I just took with me on vacation. That was inspired by Anne because she had made one just like the one that I'm always working on.
Which
So
I
Nice.
yeah,
haven't finished.
You
yeah.
Sitting in a
haven't?
basket. It's semi-finished.
Uh-huh.
Semi.
So what are you currently working on?
I'm working on a t-shirt quilt for my brother and sister-in-law of the t-shirts of my nephew that passed away in, let's see, 2017. So I said I would never, ever, ever do a t-shirt quilt. So never say never,
Never say never.
because of course I'm making this and it's fun. It's just so open-ended though. So it's a little, I could probably work on it forever and keep tweaking it, but I'm not going to. No, it's almost done.
She
It's
said with
the
determination.
right. It's the you start moving your blocks around and on the wall design walls,
Yeah,
and then
well,
you get to a
yeah.
point where you
I
could
don't have a
probably
design
move.
wall right now. I have a design floor,
Well,
and it's a
it's
little
the
hard on
same.
the back.
It's the same.
It's a little hard on the back or the knees.
Yeah. But you do get to a point where you start moving all your blocks around and know you could do this and this and this and this. And finally, you have to
Right,
just say, okay, this will never get done if I keep moving all the blocks around
right.
or adding
Well,
to
maybe
our
I shouldn't do
design.
that. Maybe I should
Well,
buy more fabric. Maybe I should, anyway,
Beth, what are you working on?
oh gosh. So
like 10
I
things.
so yes, it's always a million things. However, I did stupidly start a new project. um, on Wednesday, we got a couple of new patterns in from Lori Smith, who
Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely love. Her company is the From My Heart to Your Hands, I think. Yes,
I think
From My
so.
Heart. Anyway, she's one of my favorites. And I had ordered some patterns and clicked on a couple that we hadn't had before, and then it came in, and I was like,
Yeah.
I have to do this. And so it's these little 9 um, wool applique and embroidery, little 9
Oh,
blocks that end up being like 4 by 5 inches. So they're
Right. And then a little
small.
tiny cornerstone.
And then little tiny cornerstones
With
that
a
are
flower.
also, and then there's buttons all
Oh,
over
it's
it.
really cute.
And so I just couldn't resist. So I actually finished one of the blocks last night, and I have the second one kind of ready to go. But that's just one of the
yes.
many things. But I always have something that I work with my hands, and so yes, there's always
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
There's always something.
Right.
I'm
Yep.
surprised I ever get anything done because it's like the bright shiny thing passes me by, and
Yes.
I want to
Like,
do that
I
one
want
too.
it. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so do you guys have a particular designer or fabric style or pattern designer that you guys just absolutely love?
Civil War. I'm a real fan of Civil War fabrics.
Okay, so is there a particular designer that of the Civil War fabric, or your equal opportunity?
No, I don't know names.
Oh,
The person who has a shop north of Salina, Kansas. We have, I don't know names.
okay.
We have her
Joe
So Joe
Morton,
Morton, Judy
Pam
Rockermo,
Buddha.
Pam Buddha,
Joe, the first one.
Morton Joe.
and
Yes,
then you also love
yes.
Kansas Troubles.
Love Kansas.
Yeah,
Love.
Lynn Hagmeyer is
Thank you.
her
It's
name.
Lynn Hagmeyer.
That's
Yes.
your favorite.
Okay.
I have been
Okay.
to her shop, which is
Yes.
north of
Oh.
Salina.
I was trying to think because Joe Morton
Oh,
does not have a shop.
yeah.
But,
Okay.
so yes, so Kansas Troubles,
Oh,
that's Lynn.
yes. I felt like I was finally in heaven when I walked into her shop.
Yes.
And her husband showed us the retreat center that's
Oh.
above the shop
Oh,
in a tiny little
fun.
town in Kansas.
Yes.
And that is my home. That's what I love the best. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that's awesome. And we just ordered her new line of fabric.
What?
I
Yeah.
can't remember if it's September or October, but it's coming.
Good.
It's called Fluttering Leaves, I think is
Oh.
what it's called.
Okay.
So that's lovely.
Good.
What about you, Anne?
Well, I'm kind of all over the place, which is kind of typical Anne. I'm very eclectic. I'm very batiks and I do like, I tend to not go as much in the Civil War, but bright things are shiny, things like that.
Bright
Yeah,
and shiny.
bright. No, I'm all over, but construction, I suppose. I have done a million construction baby quilts.
Yes.
So
When she's talking about like the construction
themed.
themed,
Yeah.
whether that's kids or not, because we've been getting some of the realistic,
Right.
big bulldozer panels and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I've done a
and
lot of those, but that's
yeah.
more because my husband taught construction management at the Air Force Academy, and there was always somebody having children, so and highly worthy of a quilt.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm kind of all over. I mean, I'm surprised that I really go for this memoirs and the rendezvous, but I really love the scrolls, and I love the fact that it has the
Yeah.
what do you call that? Like not blueprints, but the plans kind of like behind it. So anyway,
Journaling.
I do love that look and the botanical part of it. So I'm kind of all over the map.
I'm all over the map also. I used to pretty much just be Civil War fabrics. That's how I started. That's what I wanted to do, and I still love the Civil War fabric. I'm thrilled that I'm doing the Civil War one for the mystery because it's been a long time since I've grabbed Civil War fabric to do anything with. So it's kind of fun to do that. But I'm with you. Over the years, it's like I love everything. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I love it all, and I'm attracted to a lot of it. Probably batiks is the thing I do the least amount with, but not because I don't love them. I think they're beautiful, and I have done several things with them. But I'm all over the place. So I'm with you, Anne.
Okay.
All right. And I asked them to be prepared to talk about maybe one of their favorite tools, favorite notions are. So since you've got them in your
I got it
hand,
ready. I love this clover seam ripper. I was trying to find the one that I somehow modified on my iron, but I couldn't find it. And we only have this one.
do you want to tell your story about Jack?
Well,
Or
Jack.
I have probably bought 10, maybe 15 of these, and they just kind of disappear somewhere. And they finally came in because they were back ordered for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought it. I had used it the night before on some project, and I had it in where I was sewing, and I had not left that room, and I could not find it. And I'm thinking, really? I just bought it. I mean, I just had it one day, and I looked all over my sewing room, and I started to walk out and thought, no, I haven't left. And I came back and I gave up, and I look over at my iron, and it is this poor thing was on the iron, and it had probably been screaming at me the whole time saying, ah! I must have touched it, and then it just like, when I lifted up my iron, it lifted up and it went, ah! and I should have left it because it had started to cool. My iron will turn itself off. So it was probably cooling down. I should have just left it to cool completely, but no, I pull it off and it's all gooey, but it actually makes it kind of like it's easier to grip. Right? And that's where I get where this is by the same company.
Okay, so
it's not a seam ripper. It's supposedly an awl.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't use it as an awl. I use it as a stiletto.
Mm-hmm.
So I use this all the time. And maybe because of its shape, it's easier to hold, but maybe it's easier to not get knocked off. I don't know.
Yeah.
They make a seam ripper now that's got the same handle. So I'm thinking maybe, and it looks like the same. What I love about this is it's thin, right, and it will go into a really nice into stitches, because I usually do a 2, not 2.5, but
right.
I think that's right. And so that's, of course, when I have to rip it out is when it's 2, not when it's 2.5. So but I love this. I love them. So,
well, I love the story of Jack
the Ripper.
I tend to tell my beginners about that story, and instead of a seam ripper, I kind of like to call it a creative readjuster.
Well, there you go.
it sounds better. Do we have a question?
Do you know why seam rippers have the red ball?
I absolutely do.
Ooh.
Because for years I did the pick of your seam, so you're trying to get that little sharp point, until all of a sudden I found out there is a proper way to use a seam ripper that takes 2 seconds to get a seam out. That red ball you hold, do you have
Sure,
one?
It's right here.
Okay. That red ball you hold underneath your stitches. So say my quilt is here, or my block is here, my seam is here, and that's the one I'm trying to take out. That red ball you slip underneath your stitches, so the sharp part's on the top, and you just go zoop, and it takes your seam right out. You do need to be careful because that sharp point is sharp, and you can't be careless with it because it will then poke your fabric. But yeah, I was using my seam ripper wrong all the time, and then I realized, right?
Look Who knew? Face. Who knew?
I thought, how in the world have I been quilting for 20 plus years and didn't know the proper way to use a seam ripper? I just think
I would cut into it.
You gotta try it.
So I just do every 5, and then I love that sound.
Right? You can well, that's the sound it makes when you go zoop. It makes the same sound as when you pull it apart.
All right, maybe.
So
I had heard that.
If anybody ever wants to see me do it, just come in. I will show you how you properly use. Hey, there's a video, LQ. We'll do a video. This is how you can use
tools. How do you use the
tools? And
tools?
This is what the red ball is for. It goes under the stitches, and then you just go shoop.
There's always something new to learn.
Right?
Every day.
Right?
That's fabulous.
Although I'm sure it was the original purpose of the red ball, but how we didn't know.
No.
No, now we know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you, Rosemary, what is your favorite tool?
So
Oh,
I have
right.
demonstrated this for the shop, and I love this, and I wish I'd thought I had to bring the quilt that's on my cutting table right now that just needs binding, that comes from Stripology. This is a great tool because you fold your fabric in half, so it's 11 inches instead of the 22, and you lay this down, and there's a star at every 1.5 inches, and there's a block at every 2.5 inches. You lay it down, zip, 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 cut. You don't move the ruler. And all of a sudden you have your 2.5 inch strips or your 1.5 inch strips. And then if you need squares, you pick it up and move it the other way, and you've got your 2.5 or
Without
1.5.
moving your fabric underneath it.
Right.
And then within, I won't say seconds, but maybe just a couple minutes, you've got hundreds of squares already cut for you. So
And-
if you, what I love about this is if the June Taylor
Yeah.
ruler has been out for years and years, that is sort of the same concept. It's got the slits in it to where you can cut, but this is Creative Grids.
Yeah.
And it has the grippy on the back. I know that's the very scientific name for it, but it's got that texture on the back. So how many times did you use the June Taylor ruler and it slipped because it's just a slick plastic?
And the June Taylor would crack too.
And it would crack.
And
This
so
is
mine had
thicker.
duct tape on it.
Yes. Oh yes, mine
Mine
does.
June
Mine
Taylor.
still does.
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
if it's duct
Yes.
tape, but it's taped.
Yep. And this comes in 2 sizes. So if you want to start with the smaller one and just get yourself going.
Yeah.
And what's lovely is we have a series of 3 books called Stripology with Mixology.
Yes.
So as you're in your quilt studio on a Friday night and you need a cocktail as you're quilting, it has recipes for you.
Recipes.
Not always a good combo.
Not always a good combo. Good point.
So it's not like bowling. I bowl straighter when I have a beer or two.
Yeah, okay.
But boy, that just said a lot, didn't it? So Gudrun Erla is the designer of the Stripology rulers with Creative Grids, and those are her books. You know, so she wanted to come up with this tool, but I love it when designers say, okay, yes, I love this tool, but let's create some patterns and books that people can then use with it. So it's wonderful.
Yeah. So much.
Yes.
Good tool.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. I think that's all my questions. Are you guys ready for rapid fire?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to move this way. You guys move over here. So I'm just going to ask you some quick questions, and you're supposed to answer as fast as you can.
Okay.
There, only one of them is quilt related.
And
so we're just going to get to know them a little bit better here, and you guys can answer in unison.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Sure.
Coffee or tea?
Both.
Coffee. We stop when we do quilt shop hop together. We stop at Starbucks. That's our first
There
stop.
are traditions.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Dog or cat?
Both.
Dog. Dog.
But if I had to pick, probably cat.
Okay. Beach or mountain?
Both.
Ooh, both.
That's both. That has to be both.
Read a book or watch TV?
Read a book.
Pick book. But do mostly probably TV.
Yeah, well, there's truth. Yes.
Okay.
Or movie.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Salty.
I thought you were going to say both, because you're kind of on a both.
No, I know. It's a theme, right? Eclectic everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Wash or no wash?
Wash.
Wash mostly.
Yeah.
Unless it's pre-cuts.
Right.
And then the problem is then you have all these leftovers and you don't know if they've been washed or not washed. So I have to have all these little notes and then I think, I don't know. But my hands react to fabric, so
yeah.
I think.
That's true.
I don't know if that's what
See,
it is.
and self-deprecation is the thing we love best about
There we
her.
go.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I love these two women dearly. If you can't tell already, We specifically wanted them to do our little interview together
Yes,
because
yes.
we knew that they'd known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
You guys are wonderful.
Well, thank
You know,
you.
we always say when you walk into the store that the fairies have been in and moved everything around, and it's the reason why the store looks the way it
Yeah.
does. Well, most of you know that that is all spearheaded by
I don't think
Anne.
so.
Yes, it is.
We're a team.
Well, we are a team, and we do always have ideas, but Anne is the one that I know just she's just miraculous.
Right.
She does not think
Mhm.
she is, but she is.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of times where I'm like, do you need me to just listen or do you
Definitely.
do you want an answer? Because I can do either one. You just tell me.
That's so funny.
But I hope you know I trust everything that you do. The store is beautiful and we hear it
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
Anybody who walks in, whether they're a customer from a long time that's been here for a long time or a brand new customer, it is one of the one I love watching somebody's face when they walk in the door.
Yeah.
Because if they haven't been in here a while or it's their first time, you can just read all over their face that they have just entered a magical place. You can just see it. I appreciate
Well,
you
good.
so much. And I appreciate that Rosemary finally succumbed to us asking her to work here. And we love having you both,
Oh, thank you.
here. So before we end, I just want to show you guys something really new that I am just in love with. So we're gonna walk this way, and oh my gosh, look at these. So if you do watch Tula Pink's videos not too long ago, although it was probably probably way longer than I think it was, 2, 3 months, I'm not sure. She showed the Funky Friends factory patterns for these little animals that you can make, and she was showing them with her fabrics. Well, we could not resist, and we got a bunch of them in. Michelle made the hedgehog. I'm forgetting Hannah. This is Hannah Hedgehog. She made it with the Tilda fabrics, and then she just brought the cat. Oh my gosh, what's the cat's name? Patch. Patch. So this is Patch the Pussycat, I think is what it says. But she chose some Tula fabrics on it. Look at it. Oh my gosh, I just love it. Look, they're much bigger than I thought they were going to be. But check out this display. We got a lot of them. If you will be surprised to know that there are many, many more that we did not get. But I just think they're so great and another way to kind of show off some fabrics, and I just think they're wonderful. We've got some others that will be coming in too, I think, that we're making, but we've put them right here in the front of the store so you can see them. So please come check them out. And I do believe we've put them on the website. Oh, and one more thing, you know, we switched our company that we do our emails with, and you know, I think I say all the time that we're getting so techy and we're getting a little dangerous, but I have figured out how to make our emails interactive with our website. So now if we put a fabric on there, you can click the picture and it will take you to that fabric on our website that you can purchase. If it's a class, you can click on the picture of the class and you'd be able to enroll online. Um, it's a little scary how this is all happening sometimes by accident. So 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 please know that if the fabric or whatever we're highlighting on our email is on our website, you can click the picture and it'll take you to the website, because now I have figured out how to do that. I'm going to go crazy doing it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, you can see this video on YouTube and on Instagram, and you can watch it over and over and over again if you would like to on Facebook. Thanks, guys.